Hi and welcome back. So I told you I'd do a video on how I prepare my oatmeal packets so that we don't have to buy them from the store, and they're a lot more nutritious, you know what's in them, and they're tastier. So what I take is just a regular sandwich bag, and because my husband's a good eater in the morning, I usually put 3/4 of a cup of oatmeal in each bag. And then, of course, it's up to you how much water, how thick or thin you like it. So we're going to put all these in the bag. I try to do it like an assembly line. So we're going to get 3/4 of a cup in all these. It's down to 1, so we don't want them running out. I'm not much of an oatmeal person, although I'm making apple cinnamon for him today. When I make it for myself, I make the maple sugar ones because I really like that myself. That's my favorite. If there's a flavor that you really kind of like, let me know, because I've made quite a few different kinds. And like, I've made strawberry banana, I've done apple nut, raisin, all kinds of different things. So it looks like I'm going to get, I think, 8 out of this package. Because sometimes it'll tell you, obviously you have the same amount of ounces always, but it doesn't always mean it does the right amount. Anyway, and in this jar, all this beauty is tons of apples. I chop them up real small, and then I dehydrated them. So then what I do is I take a handful out, and mind you, when it's cooking in the microwave, and put a few more in that one, and the milk is hit it, the water's hit it, it all rehydrates while it's cooking right there in the microwave. So you don't have to mess with it. And then it's like having beautiful chunks of apple in your cereal. So it's not quite like ground up stuff that they do at the packets that you buy in the store. You're actually going to taste chunks of apples. Alright, these are so easy, by the way. So then I take about a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and I put that in each one of them. I don't really measure it out. I guess I should, but I don't, and it usually turns out really good. And if it doesn't, he never says anything, so maybe he's a smart husband. Okay, so we put the cinnamon in there. Now your sugar, I use just regular sugar. You can use pure cane sugar. You can use whatever kind you want. But I put usually a teaspoon of sugar in each one of them as well. And like I say, the ones that you buy at the store, how you just add water to it and then you put it in the microwave, it's going to be the same exact thing that you do with this. And then if you want to add milk, some people like it real thick. I'm not one of those. So then what I do is I fold my package over in half and seal it. And I put it in this little blue container I got at the dollar store. Because you don't want air to get to it. Because then you'll have stale cereal, and I'm sure you don't want stale cereal. Unless you're mad at the hubby, then I guess it'd be alright. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Some people have called me a smartass. I don't know where I get that from, but anyway. I can be like that at times, I guess. So then I don't know if you guys think about cooking this way, but when I cook or I share my food with other people, I see it as what my neighbor calls my love language. Maybe that's why I'm a big girl. I don't know. But I just see, you know, some food that you make for people that you love. It is a language of love. It is telling them that, you know, you took that extra few minutes to make them something that you know that they like and that it's special to them. That happens to be his favorite cereal. And so to me, it's a blessing to have learned how to do it so that I can give him something that fills him up in the morning and he enjoys it. So that means something to me. I know I'm a bit old-fashioned for some of those girls that might be watching, and you're like, why would you do that for a man? Well, that's how I was raised, and that's how I like to do it. Plain and simple. And I wanted to show you something, too. And by the way, the moisture's on the outside of this jug because I just took the wrapping off of it. I want you to put in an oxygen absorber into each one of these that I'm going to do. Make sure you keep these sealed right back up because if they activate, then we want them. It's raining here today. My garden, I'm sure, is loving it. I'll have to get the videotape out one day this week and take it out and show you my... Whoops, you went... Boom. And go out and show you my garden. It's all just doing so great. So you put a funnel at the top of it. I'm going to do rice and white beans today. And what I do when I fill it up completely, then my husband takes it down and puts it into our inventory. So you just put it right here in this funnel. And that makes for very cheap storage of your food. And then I write on the side of the bottle in permanent ink. So, I guess my pen's not out here right now, but I would put rice 522. And that way I know what's in it when it goes back down on the shelf. And I've got some white beans that we're going to put in this next bottle. Beans are kind of a pain in the butt because sometimes they get stuck. Like 3 or 4 beans once come out at a time. My canners are actually finished. I just have to wait for them to cool down. Sometimes it can get noisy around here on Sundays because after church I always, after I listen to church, I should say, then it's laundry day and I try to do any food prep for the week that I'm going to do. So some days it gets pretty noisy. So the background noise you're hearing is my washing. I tried sitting here and I'm thinking, oh, getting tired of waiting, so I just did it anyway. And then today, I'm also trying to finish up. I have a grandson coming next month, the first part of the month. And I am embroidering him a blanket. I think if I have any more grandkids, those kids are going to get crocheted blankets. Because let me tell you something, it is a lot of work and a lot of hours. And the older I get, the harder it is to see the stitches. So it still turned out pretty. I'm finishing up the outlining right now. I'm hoping by this afternoon to throw it in the wash with the backing. Dig out my sewing machine and put it together so that he'll have it when he gets here. It's funny because I told his mom, I go, oh, I don't know, and so she kind of said, she goes, you'll never finish it. Well, when somebody says I won't do something, I kind of have to think that I will. And she knows that, that's why she said it. So then you're going to put the lid on this one too. And then I will put on here, like I did the other, white beans, 5 of 22. It's got your oxygen absorber in there. And what that's doing is sucking out all of your oxygen out of the bottle so everything stays dry. So you don't need real expensive storage containers to store and preserve your food. If you get the 20 ounces, you can do a small bag of rice. I do the 2 liters so that I don't have to keep filling it over and over and over again, you know, and have a ton of bottles downstairs. So this way it takes about, I think, 4 or 5 pound bags of rice for the rice one. And right now I'm working on a pinto bean one and a lentils as well. And like I say, when they get filled, then they go downstairs and go on the shelf. So I've been listening to a few channels today, and you know, you guys, it talks about there's going to be water shortages. There's going to be this and that shortage and all these other things. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I do want you to know that those things are coming and it's happening. And, you know, it's things that I asked a lady at church probably a year ago. And I said to her, she was in her 90s, and I said to her, did you ever think that you would live through things like what we're going through right now? And she said no. And that was only a year ago. That was before all the shortages and everything else that happened. And, you know, when you take a person that's lived almost a century and they say something like that, it's a little discerning. You know, I once said I don't trust in the government to fulfill their duty, and I don't. I do trust that God can get us through everything that we need to get through. I do believe that in my heart, you know, if we ask for strength and the ability. And sometimes people think that because you believe in God, you'll never go through anything rough. And that's not true. Sometimes you have to go through the rough to appreciate the good. And, excuse me, this weather's been really messing with me. But anyways, you know, when people say, well, God will provide. Yes, he does. But he also expects you to get up and do something about it. Can he fill your stock shelves? Can he make sure you never starve? Of course he can. He has all the power in the world to do that. But at the same time, when you tell your kids, I'll provide for you, I will take care of you, I will be that one. But at the same time, don't you teach them lessons while they're growing up. You teach them to make their beds, and you teach them how to tie their shoes and to say their alphabet and their colors. And when they get older, you go through the heartbreaks of, you know, boyfriends and girlfriends and friends and homework and classes, and you go through all those things. Even though we provide for them, even though we take care of them, even though we would do anything in the world to make sure that their hearts don't get broken, that they have it easier than us, we had to teach them lessons along the way. And with believing in God, it's no differently. He expects us to do for ourselves as well. You know, like, I have a friend of mine on Facebook that says, you know, Chris, she goes, I can't believe you actually think everybody should work and blah, 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 and that makes me racist and all this other stuff. If you're able to work, you should work. If you're able to provide, you should provide. If you're not, then we'll take care of you for that, you know? But it's like God said, you know, basically, if you don't work, you don't eat. And it's going to be the same way with the prepping. If we don't prep, if we don't prepare, if we don't maybe grow gardens or, you know, buy that little bit of extra, when it comes down the line, how many people do you know are going to give you their food? Because mine, well, it's for my kids and my grandkids. I want, like I said, I would love to feed everybody, but I can't. So that food that I'm prepping up right now, that's because I know my kids aren't. And they don't believe the stuff's coming on. So I do it for my family because I love my family. And, you know, listen to some things other than mainstream media. You know, go on YouTube and watch some of the prepping channels and some of the ones that talk to you about what's actually going on. And farm channels, they can tell you what's really going on. Farmers know, they're not stupid. But just kind of look out for what you do, and be good to one another and love one another, and, you know, stock up a little bit. Don't go buy out the store. You got to leave some there for other people. And, you know, I heard this one thing on a prepping channel. I want to tell you that. She said, you know, everything that you plant and everything that you harvest takes stress off the food chain. So in the long run, even though you're not prepping food for other people, you're helping other people. And that is because you've taken some stress off of that food chain. And, you know, I never thought of it that way. But if I make up, you know, if I can up a bunch of tomatoes, I am not going to Walmart to buy those tomatoes so that you can. And so that makes a whole lot of sense to me. So anyway, we're up to 23 subscribers. That's amazing. Yeah, my husband thinks I'm crazy. I get excited every time I get a new one. So please like, subscribe, share. And in the bottom, if you hit that bell, you'll know whenever I put out another video. I'm going to try to put one out today. Me and Jack's going to do a quick meal. And I'm going to do some French fries so that my neighbor can see again how I do those. So, again, have a blessed Sunday. Thanks for subscribing and sharing so we can get some more. And if there's anything special that you want to see me do or talk about, let me know, because we can't cook and prep and can all the time. I wish we could, though. But anyways, I'm waiting for my canners over here in the distance to cool down, and then we'll unload them and get those put away. Hopefully we're done canning for a little bit, because next weekend, I've learned this in the prepping channels too, you've got to get more skills. And I know how to take a loaf of bread that you get in the frozen section and put it into a pan and bake it. I have never baked a loaf of bread other than banana and zucchini and stuff like that. I've never done a white loaf of bread from scratch. And so that's next week's assignment. Maybe I'll bring you along with me, and if I fail, you guys can watch me look stupid. But learn new skills, whatever, and that's what I'm trying to do. And believe it or not, you know, not even quite 2 years ago, I couldn't can a thing, and I was scared, and my sister was in here, and she's like, put the jiggler on there now, and I'm like, no, you do it. Now it doesn't faze me. It doesn't scare me at all. So little by little, you know, start with your water bathers or whatever, because it's getting to where there's some fruit. You can do strawberry jam. Oh, I got some in the basement. It's so good. All kinds of stuff you can do in the little water bather. So anyway, please like, subscribe, and share. And you have a very blessed Sunday.